na morum chumena matagni ko ni rongo ni bibo na matagni ke misa ropo. Ni ana ni sambulu bidang na sero gori sana. Ni churi kira na morum chumai. Tuna sile. Ni sambula oyo Mr. Ben. Ela ba? Na magikira na bibo mataka mo ni chikira morum buka mena ono kena diwa ena bula FM.
In this bulletin, Electoral Commission files proceedings in the High Court. Election candidates' draw takes place despite protests. And political parties react to Electoral Commission's decision. Good evening, this is FBC News and I'm Amrita Priyadarshini. A court battle is tonight ensuing between the Electoral Commission and the Supervisor of Elections over the drawing of candidate numbers. The Commission has filed proceedings seeking a declaration that the Supervisor of Elections erred in law. Edwin Nand has the details.
The Electoral Commission wants today's draw of candidate numbers declared void and of no effect. Urgent court papers were filed this afternoon.
We felt that it was necessary for us to consider our position, and because the issues which were involved affected national interest, we discussed it as a Electoral Commission, and we have now filed proceedings against the Supervisor of Election.
I sought a second legal opinion this morning. I sought that legal opinion from the Solicitor General, and the Solicitor General's legal opinion was still the same, that the time frame for the decisions was 4 o'clock yesterday, and in the event that has not been done, the provisions are frustrated, and that the Supervisor of Elections is at liberty to proceed with the draw, and that's what we followed, and that's what we did.
The Commission wants a declaration from the High Court that the Supervisor, Muhammad Saneem, erred in law and fact when he said the Commission had to deliver its decision by 4 p.m. yesterday. It also wants the court to rule that Saneem is bound to follow the directive of the Electoral Commission to include the name of Stephen Singh in the candidate list and remove Parveen Kumar of Fiji First.
He was also wrong in law to ignore the decisions of the Electoral Commission with regard to the review and the objections.
It is an interpretation of the law, and every person is entitled to the legal opinion. I have sought legal opinion, they have sought their legal opinion, and we're following our own legal opinions.
The matter is being heard tonight in the Suva High Court, with the ruling also expected later this evening, taking into account the significant public importance. Young says they want the court to order another draw of numbers for all candidates tomorrow based on the names approved by the Commission.
The Electoral Commission is independent, and we have looked at it, and we have formulated our own views on it based on legal advice, and we think it is an important issue for Fiji as a country to know once and for all whether this particular process of election should go with to take into account the decisions of the Electoral Commission, or whether the Supervisor of Election was right to ignore it.
The Commission says the elections process is still well on track and uncompromised. If anything, the court case will help remove the impasse and allow all parties to move forward. Edwin Nand, FBC News.
Well, on the other hand, all 249 candidates contesting for one of 50 seats in the new parliament now have a candidate's number. The national candidates list was drawn this morning at the elections office. Chanel Sivan was at the draw.
The draw proceeded with the names of the candidates approved by the Supervisor of Elections, which was published last Tuesday. The process was witnessed by representatives from all political parties, diplomatic corps, government officials and the media.
We are now proceeding to finalize the ballot paper, and we will begin printing of ballot papers as early as we can from next week, and we will then get prepared for poll.
And the notice of pre-poll, will it be still Monday or?
Under the decree, the 7 days requirement is there for notice of poll and notice of pre-poll as well, and we anticipate that to be complied with as well.
All candidates now have 3 weeks to get their numbers out to the electorate.
Overall process, I think it was okay. It went well. It seems to be, a transfer way it was done. Yeah, transparent. I think it was transparent because the way the numbers were rolled and the balls were picked and all that sort of thing. We were there as eyewitness. Yeah.
Quite keen to get those numbers out to the electorate, and I'm sure all the individual candidates of Fiji First will be going out and promoting the individual numbers.
So what's next now?
Well, everybody's on the campaign trail, and now of course they'll be going out and specifically telling them which number to vote for. As you know that it's an open list system, so there is also competition amongst voters. That was the whole idea.
For the first time ever in an election, numbers were drawn from a barrel and assigned to candidates. The numbers started from 135, and a total of 249 numbers were assigned to as many candidates whose names were listed in an alphabetic order. The Fiji United Freedom Party has 3 candidates, National Federation Party 49, Fiji Labour Party 37, Social Democratic Liberal Party 49, and one Fiji is contesting 13 seats. The Fiji First has 50 candidates, People's Democratic Party 46, and there are 2 independents. Shanal Shivan, FBC News.
Meanwhile, at the elections office today, leaders of the Fiji Labour Party and the People's Democratic Party walked out in protest, saying the process was not fair. The FLP argued that its candidate Stephen Singh should be included in the list as ruled by the Electoral Commission, while the PDP questioned one Fiji First candidacy.
I want this candidate reinstated because there is great injustice being done.
We will proceed with that role. Thank you very much.
We are protesting.
Well, protest is noted. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, we will now...
There is grave injustice here. This election is not free and fair.
Thank you.
Mr. Supervisor, sir, I, on behalf of the People's Democratic Party, would like also an explanation from the supervisor as to why the name of Praveen Kumar has been included in the list today. We have received an official notice here
At what time?
From the Electoral Commission, once again, that the ground of objection that the People's Democratic Party had stated was upheld by the Commission, and the reasons being this, and it is here in writing.
Please, let me just say this.
Mr. Salim, please let me finish. Let me finish. I have the right to finish. Mr. Salim, please, sir, let me finish.
Beyond the time, the supervisor will not take notice of that.
I need to have my time to speak. You have given Mr. Chaudhary time to speak. You need to give me time to speak, please. Thank you. Now, Mr. Praveen Kumar states here, right, he did not deny the allegations that he was still using an official vehicle and was still occupying the Special Administrator's office on the day the nominations closed. He did not deny this, and as a result, that was evidence which you, sir, should have considered on Tuesday when you made your decision to include him. That is unfair and unjust, unconstitutional.
I get your own legal opinion on that, right? Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, having sorted that, we will now show the balls that we will be using. Let's go.
In a turn of events last night, the Supervisor of Elections, Mohammed Sanim, announced that the drawing of the number for candidates for the election will go ahead this morning, as he had not received any decision from the Electoral Commission about appeals and review of candidates. Eleanor Trangavu has more.
According to the Supervisor of Elections, Mohammed Sanim, the deadline for the Electoral Commission's decision on the appeals and objections against candidates lapsed at 4 p.m. yesterday.
I would refer to the sections which say that the decision has to be handed within 3 days of the receipt of the appeal or the objection, and the time expired at 4 p.m. effectively, and I have not received anything. Therefore, ladies and gentlemen, the national candidates list draw will proceed as advised tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. and we will use the list that was published in the newspaper on the 19th of August 2014.
Saneem says he sought legal advice from the Solicitor General before making the announcement almost 2.5 hours after the deadline lapsed.
I have informed the Electoral Commission that it is my belief that sections 30 and 31 of the decree have been frustrated. We need to proceed with the elections as we cannot frustrate the entire process, and that is why we are now going to proceed with the draw as advised.
After the announcement, Electoral Commission Chairman Chen Ban-Yang met officials and candidates of political parties to inform them of the Commission's decisions on the appeals and objections. Yang then held a press conference saying one of the 11 objections received was allowed. As well, one of the 10 review applications received was allowed. Yang also explained the cause of delay in their work.
We had made the decision basically at about 2 o'clock. But then we had to write the reasons down. And that took us time, obviously. And you have myself and 6 others, and we wanted to make sure that we expressed it as best as we could. And so obviously that took us a bit over past to this particular time. Now, I understand that the supervisor of election has taken a different view from us. We took legal opinion on what it meant for the 3 days and when it started and when it came to an end. And obviously he took the view that it would be 4 p.m. I beg to disagree with him. And we, as a precaution, we took legal advice on this offshore.
Yang also stated that he hoped to meet the supervisor of elections to iron out the issue before the drawing of the candidates' numbers this morning. However, that did not eventuate, and the Electoral Commission has now gone to court to seek legal redress. Eleanor Turangaibio, FBC News.
Now, political party representatives present at the elections office last night reacted swiftly to the announcement by the Electoral Commission. They had been waiting at the office since 4 p.m. for the announcement. Vasita Kote Wasawasa reports.
Among the party officials and candidates who waited for several hours was the National Federation Party's General Secretary Kamal Aya.
They have dismissed our objections on the basis that both Mere Burimanga and Aya Syed Kayu were not appointed to the positions of Supervisor of Election or the Electoral Commission respectively. Well, the decision of the Electoral Commission is final, so it cannot be challenged in court.
The People's Democratic Party's objection against Praveen Bala was allowed by the Commission, which meant he is ruled out of the election. The Commission ruled Bala Kumar, as he is listed in the candidates list, was still a public officer at the time when he signed his nomination. Party President Linda Tambuya says they lodged 4 reviews of their candidates' drop. The appeal against Hiroshi Taniguchi's nomination was dismissed because he did not meet residency requirement. 3 of PDP's candidates held previous convictions and did not qualify to contest the election.
Despite our objection or our review that they didn't serve 12 months imprisonment or more, in fact they didn't serve any term of imprisonment at all. They had very, very mild fines that they had, and especially I'd like to comment on Mr. Daniel Urai. He has been in Parliament twice. He was accepted in 2006. He won the elections. He had a previous conviction in 2001, but the electoral rules at the time was not what it is today. So this has been applied arbitrarily, and we certainly are disappointed with that.
The Fiji Labour Party's member Ben Padarath says 2 of their appeals were dismissed. However, their candidate Stephen Singh's appeal was allowed and he will contest the election. However, the names of the candidates have not been included in the candidates' number draw that took place this morning. Wasita Kote Wasawasa, FBC News.
Straight after the break, Fiji and New Zealand agreed to have annual consultation for their foreign ministers from next year.
छू 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 हे हे नमस्ते फीजी, आपके हर एक प्रॉब्लम की दवा लेकर मैं आ गई हूँ 9 से 12 बजे तक आपकी सहेली रेनू। छू 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 40 में 20 का दिखना है। मैं हूँ ना आपके साथ में मिर्ची एफएम पर 9 से 12 बजे तक मंडे टू फ्राइडे। मिर्ची, इट्स हॉट।
Welcome back here with FBC News. Normal foreign policies are expected to resume between Fiji and New Zealand following high-level talks between the two foreign affairs ministers and senior officials in Nadi. New Zealand Foreign Minister Murray McCully jetted into the country yesterday for the meeting. Akosita Tale has more.
It's been 7 years since the two countries sat at a table and discussed issues that are important to both of them. New Zealand now looks forward to resuming normal business immediately after the September elections in both countries and focus on development cooperation areas.
Areas like agriculture, but there are other areas where we've been able to get to the point of focusing on Fiji rejoining programs like the recognised seasonal employer scheme. So we've had our officials working on that, the Pacific access for immigration being discussed with officials.
Fijians can now look forward to visiting New Zealand and being part of the seasonal worker scheme by next year.
We have agreed a pilot program, so this is not something you can just turn on overnight. What's important is that on one side that there are good preparations made for those who are going to be introduced into the scheme, and on the other hand the employers who drive the scheme need to be introduced to the opportunities and given confidence about the ability to deliver.
McCurley says work is progressing and he is confident to see some pilot programs taking place in 2015. Fiji's participation in this scheme is expected to expand after this.
I think New Zealand's recently announced that we've increased the number of places in the scheme so that Fiji can come into it without it displacing participants from other Pacific countries. We think we need a win-win scenario there.
McCurley says he is pleased to see Fiji's progress made towards the September 17 election. He adds significant credit is due to those who have been putting demanding logistical arrangements in place and wishes Fijians well in the election. The New Zealand Foreign Minister and his team left the country today. Akosita Tale, FBC News.
Fiji First Leader Voreqe Bainimarama had two successful meetings in Sydney last night. Accompanied by his wife Mary, Bainimarama was first hosted at the Green Valley Mosque and then at the Sanatan Temple at Austral with no protesters in sight. He spoke on the government's development work, the 2013 constitution, land issues and also on equal citizenry.
Common and equal citizenry, ladies and gentlemen, is not only important to ensure that no one gets treated as a second-class or third-class citizens. This is not only applicable between different ethnic groups, but also between different socio-economic groups.
Meanwhile, a small group of protesters has gathered near Mytilene Hall in Canterbury, the venue for Bainimarama's meeting with supporters tonight. The group, led by the Fiji Democracy and Freedom Movement, are seen here chanting slogans against the current government. A notable face in the group is former Labour Minister in the Garase government, Kenneth Singh. Bainimarama is expected to meet Fiji First supporters at a dinner dance at 7 tonight. The Vodafone Fiji 2014 Hibiscus Festival ends with a bang tonight, with a crowning at the Albert Park in Suva. Rishika Kumar reports despite a slow start, the mother of all festivals has lived up to its name.
The food, the rides, the float and without a doubt, the contestants. This year's festival has been deemed a success largely due to good weather, making it possible for more people to turn up. By this evening, thousands of people will have come to Albert Park, a little something for people of all ages. This morning, people spilled into streets, taking a vantage point from which to watch the float procession, which didn't disappoint.
I am here at the Vodafone Fiji Hibiscus float session. People are absolutely enjoying it. There's sweets, there's a lot of music, there's a lot of people who are streaming for their favorite queen. And of course, FBC had the most loudest cheers. How long have you been waiting here for?
Oh, it's been 30 minutes ago. Maybe 1 hour.
Fiji Broadcasting Corporation has an interesting story behind its float. Miss FBC set atop a diamond, signifying the company's 60th anniversary. It took a whole week to build and staff from all departments pitched in to help.
The theme for float was diamond actually, because since it was a FBC 60th year anniversary, the float committee decided to build a diamond to mark the 60 years of broadcasting in Fiji for the 6 radio stations.
It's very good and very nice.
What do you like?
The Ferris
Miss Vodafone Hibiscus 2014 will be crowned in the next hour. Rashika Kumar, FBC News.
Coming up in sports news, Suva and Lautoka qualify for next week's Ink Mobile Battle of Giants semi-finals. And Suva wins the Rewa Galaxy Kachi Rugby.
रेडियो फीजी 2 देश की धड़कन पर आपका स्वागत है बच्चों की दुनिया में। हमेशा की तरह आज भी हम आपके लिए कहानियाँ और कविताएं लेकर आए हैं और बच्चों आप हमें कॉल भी कर सकते हैं। नमस्कार, मैं हूँ पल्लवी। रेडियो फीजी 2 देश की धड़कन पर मंडे टू फ्राइडे 3 से लेकर 4 बजे तक बच्चों की दुनिया में और 4 से लेकर 7 बजे तक मस्तानी शाम के सफर में शामिल रहिए मेरे साथ।
Leading FBC Sports tonight, Nandrunga has claimed the Skipper Cup rugby title after defeating Neta Siri 50 points to 7 at Lawanga Park in Singatoka this afternoon. The Stallions dominated the game in all facets of play and raced to a 31-7 lead at halftime, courtesy of 5 tries as well as 3 conversions. Nandrunga did not let off the accelerator in the second half as they scored a try just 5 minutes after restart. Meanwhile, it was double celebration for Nandrunga as it also clinched the under-20 title after beating Nandi 8-3. And Suva dominated the final of the Rewa Galaxy Kachi rugby tournament at the ANZ Stadium last night. Officials have been impressed by the level of competition from the teams that participated over the 4-day tournament. Chalindo Dakadaka reports.
The curtains were drawn last night on another Kachi rugby tournament. Officials believe this year's competition has proven to be a major success.
The level of competition for Kachi tournament has increased its intensity from the last years. The level of competition has improved a lot. Comparing those people, those districts that came from the remote areas and from the islands, they improved a lot compared to those districts here in Viti level.
Suva managed to claim the title in 4 grades, with Nandi and Vakundrobe also taking home prizes. The games were a fitting finale to what has been a busy week.
Now this year we accommodate 20 districts, whereas our maximum number is 142. 2,500 players, inclusive of officials, and also the stakeholders, the parents, the supporters are here. It's quite a mammoth task in organizing such a tournament.
This tournament has once again served its purpose in identifying the many talents within the country. Chalindo Dakavak, FBC Sports.
And the local soccer scene, All Freight Logistics Suva football side continued its impressive form in the Ink Mobile Battle of the Giants at Govind Park in Ba. The side has qualified for the semi-final next week after notching a 1-0 win over Navua. Striker Ravinesh Karan Singh scored the winning goal in the late stages of the match to hand the capital city side their second victory. And meanwhile, Lautoka will accompany Suva to the semi-final after the side registered a 1-0 win over Nandrunga. Ratu Chasevata Dungudhangi scored his second goal in as many games to lead the Blues to the top 4 sides. The third match of day 2 between Lambasa and Nandi is still underway, with the Mambasing Alliance leading 1-0 in the second half. Both sides need a win to keep their hopes alive in the competition after losing their opening matches yesterday. And meanwhile, competition is rife in the Western Zone under 16 grade at the Ink Mobile Battle of the Giants. The 6 teams that are competing in this grade are not only looking to claim the title, but players are fighting for a place in the national under-17 side to take part in the Oceania World Cup qualifiers in American Samoa next January.
It's very important we spot the right players, and they always leaving the door open later on. But for this tournament, it will be very important for us, and they will give 5 or 6 games per day. So by Sunday lunchtime, we will have an idea which 44 players we live in camp.
The FIFA Under-17 World Cup will be held in Chile in October 2015. It turned out to be a lovely day today with all the centres experiencing fine weather. Even Suva put on its best with the rains disappearing for the float parade and the Vodafone Fiji Hibiscus Festival. Temperatures range from the cool mid-20s to a high 32 degrees in Lambasa. Tomorrow's forecast is cloudy conditions in the morning in Suva, Nandi, Lotoka and Savu-Savu. However, as the day progresses, expect things to improve with fine weather forecast by the Fiji Met Service. Now for the further outlook, southeast winds 20 to 25 knots, expect rough seas. Recapping our top stories tonight, a court battle is tonight ensuing between the Electoral Commission and the Supervisor of Elections over the drawing of candidate numbers. And there is special court sitting underway now to hear the matter. And Fiji and New Zealand agree to have an annual consultation for their foreign ministers from next year. It's now time for this Fijian Speak segment.
Once they win, they deny their promises.
Political parties are lying to the public.
Do send us newsworthy pictures and videos on email citizenseyes@fbc.com.fj or share it with us via our Facebook page FBC News. If you're on Twitter, follow and tweet us your news tips at FBC News or simply hashtag FBC News. And to receive the latest headlines on your mobile phone, take subspace FBC to 777. Remember to join me again tomorrow. Bye for now.
Sarwanduru na kaloko na Radio Fiji 1 ando may biki na buongani binano. Nisambolo binaka na ngono boro taki ni rongo seri na ngono nindre ko malolo. Nisambolo binaka oye o meli kilangi. Ningi na magati umena nongo bengi rawi mai na moni tiki na warombuka na rua kina wana kaloko na ngono ni rongo mani besana. Waki na wono na ngono ni rongo seri na Radio Fiji 1 na ndo may biti na buongani binano.